Hello and welcome to my PCOS kitchen. I'm Mira and this is Charlotte, my daughter. She is about 8 months old and she will be joining us today. Today I will be showing you how to make a cauliflower gratin. It's sort of like a cauliflower cheese, but just a little bit different. It makes 6 servings and each serving is about 7.29 grams of carbs. Net carbs to be exact. So Charlotte has just gone for a little nap because she's a little sleepy. So for this cauliflower gratin, you're gonna use about 1 or 2 heads of cauliflower. It depends how big they are. I mean, this one is pretty small and this one is medium sized. This is about 800 grams total and that is about 28 ounces. So depending on the size you have, I always measure with a scale to know exactly how many carbs there are. So you're just gonna want to slice them about 2 centimeters thick, that's about 1 inch thick. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna steam these. Just like so is good. Once you've cut up your cauliflower, you're gonna wanna steam them. You don't wanna boil them because they get too watery. If you steam them, then they're the perfect moisture. I am actually going to be using a steamer, but you could also use a veggie steamer in a big pot. Okay, so Charlotte just woke up. So you'll basically want to put your cauliflower in the steamer. Just line it up, doesn't have to be perfect. And my steamer actually has 2 layers. Thank you. And just put the lid on and I'm going to let that steam for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now we'll be cooking some bacon and onions together. So I have about half an onion here that I thinly sliced and I'm just going to cook it in some butter. This is about 1-2 tablespoons of butter. Now you could chop these onions, you can cut them super thick, it doesn't matter. I prefer to have thin onions. It's all up to you. Anything is fine for this recipe. So I'm basically going to fry these until they're soft and then I'm going to add some bacon. Now you could use ham for this recipe. You could use shredded chicken, turkey bacon, you could use sausage, anything works. Anything that you think is going to go well with a white sauce is perfect. And if you don't want to use butter, that's totally fine. You can just use any type of oil that you want. You could even skip it all together if you prefer to fry the bacon first and then fry the onions and the bacon fat. I'm using Japanese bacon, so it's more like ham. They don't really have North American bacon, so not a lot of fat comes out of it, which is why I'm adding butter. So now that the onion is starting to soften up, I'm just going to add the bacon, and I also thinly sliced the bacon. And thank you, Charlotte, for helping me. And basically, you're just going to fry this until golden brown. You want that bacon to be crispy, and you want the onions to be soft and brown and sweet and delicious. All right, so the onions and bacon are ready, and this is good enough. So you're just going to set that aside, and we're going to move on to the white sauce. So I have about 3 tablespoons of cream cheese here. It's a bit softened because it's been sitting out a while. And that's about 62 grams. And I'm basically just going to heat it until it melts in the frying pan. You can cut it out a little bit like this so that it's easier to melt. And basically right now we're making the white sauce. And it's just an easy sauce that you pour over a gratin. Now usually this is made with flour and milk, but obviously because this is keto, we will not be using any of those ingredients. Nope. Basically, when your cream cheese starts to soften up, you're just going to add a little bit of cream. And I'm using 45% heavy cream. Just add a little at a time. Then you're gonna just help the cream cheese melt. And so like this, you'll be able to make a sauce without any lumps. If you add the cream all at once, then your cheese sauce might be lumpy. So just add it a little at a time and then mix everything up together. Now obviously if it's still a little bit lumpy, it doesn't matter because it's cheese, it'll be good anyways. But just make sure to mix everything. You can also use a whisk if that helps. Basically, you're going to whisk this until it smooths over. And don't forget to whisk because this is cream, so it tends to stick and burn. So always make sure you're mixing everything. You don't want this cream to burn. And it's starting to thicken up, so that's good. I'm just going to add half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, and mix that all up together. Now I used about 400 milliliters of heavy cream, which is about a cup and 2/3. And then once that it starts to bubble up at the top, then this is when you're going to add half a cup, 60 grams of cheese. Now this can be any cheese you want. I'm using Gouda cheese, but you could use mozzarella, cheddar, Emmental, anything that you want. The stronger the cheese, then the stronger the sauce will be. My husband doesn't like any other sauce, any other cheese than like mozzarella and Gouda. He doesn't like stinky cheeses, which is too bad because I love them. So this is just going to be a simple white sauce. Now you can see how thick it is from the cheese, and it's absolutely perfect. If it's coating your spatula like so, then it's ready. So I'm just going to turn off the heat. All right, so the cauliflower finished steaming. And you're basically just going to layer it up in a baking dish. So just use some tongs or a spatula, grab that cauliflower. Oh. So Charlotte has a lot of opinions. She actually really likes to eat this because the cauliflower is soft enough. She's almost 8 months old and she's just starting to get her teeth in. So this is like the perfect softness for her. And she loves like anything with cream sauce. She just devours it. So now I'm actually going to put half the bacon on top, just like this. Just like that. And then I'm going to pour the cream sauce all over. And then I'm going to put another half a cup of cheese on top of the gratin. So that's also 60 grams. And just spread it around evenly. And then I'm just going to put the last bit of bacon and onions on top. Now you'll want to bake this in a preheated oven at 200 Celsius or 400 Fahrenheit. You just want to melt the cheese and get a little bit of brown on top, and that's it. So the cauliflower gratin is ready. Now this seems really, really hot. Oh, it's so creamy and delicious. The cauliflower just melts in your mouth. This is such an easy dish to make, and your kids will love it because who doesn't love cheese? And it's baby approved. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.